All right, so the new Dragon Age came out, and I hear a lot of people don't like it because a whole bunch of different stuff when it comes to politics and video games. Now, we're no stranger to talking about politics and video games, but I definitely want to get a consensus of what everybody is thinking versus what the developers are saying. And hopefully, we can get all that in this 8-minute video. If there's more that we have to get into it, like the Ghost of Yoti. Make sure you leave in the comments below what other videos or who do you think we should check out that cover this topic better. But let's check out BioWare is officially dead by November Hotel.
Dragon Age: The Veilguard is the latest major disaster of modern gaming. For the last decade, BioWare has been slowly decaying as a studio. Once heralded
Definitely.
as one of the greatest RPG developers,
I used to absolutely love BioWare too. Like Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, the Pisto Resistance.
of all time, they've done nothing but produce flop after flop after flop. Dragon
Bro,
Age
and it's crazy because I kind of like Anthem a bit, like a bit, but I know exactly why everybody else hated it.
Inquisition was a divisive release at its time and even now, showing hints that BioWare was slowly losing their way back in 2014. Mass Effect Andromeda only cemented that idea, with the game being a gigantic disappointment
This
to
game was
all Mass
terrible.
Effect fans,
My face
having
is
some of the
tired.
worst writing, animations, and dialogue. Anthem was a game BioWare had no business making, a looter shooter developed by a studio that specialized in single-player RPGs.
As a person that loves looter shooters, I did enjoy the combat of this game. I was using like the Mantis though, like it was quick. You jump in, use your specials, use your abilities, jump out, that type of gameplay. So I was fond of that. But I know why, like definitely. And story was very, 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 very mid. If anything, like just ass. So I know why it flopped.
Probably should have been the last thing on their mind. And now, Dragon Age: The Veilguard, a game developed for modern audiences that takes the series in a baffling direction, wiping
Like
away the
John Wick.
badass and iconic art style from the original games into some C-grade level Pixar schlock, with a heavy focus on squeaky clean writing, transgender pronouns, and a generic mobile game level hack and slash gameplay. And like most games, the only ones praising this game are the mainstream news sites.
I
No
feel like I definitely need to see the gameplay more. Like the little bits that I saw from like other reviews, like I saw Fleek's review. I know he was trashing it. I was more listening than watching, but what I did watch, it did look like engaging. Like you jump up, do a bunch of combos, and then like use the right stick to like execute. I thought that looked cool, but let me see more.
surprise there, really.
As a non-binary person myself, Veilguard includes some of the most authentic representation of coming to terms with general gender stuff, and having to navigate your family's reaction to it I've yet to see in a game.
I ain't gonna lie, that's hella personal, my guy.
If we never get another Dragon Age,
9 out of
at
10.
least it got to go out on.
Again, like I did reviews. I was in the gaming industry and I've done reviews as well. And I did a review for Volition Saints Row, right? And I get a lot of people get very personal when it comes to like gaming and politics. And at the same time, it's kind of hard because IGN, right? These guys are, even though, bro, it's funny because when IGN makes a video, like a video review, even though we all know, and we've all known for a very, 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 very long time, right? This ain't like over a decade. We have known that IGN is basically getting paid for reviews. Now, I'm not going to say outright they get paid for like the score and all that, and like it has to be positive. But like every time some game comes out, why the hell, like we're only looking at IGN because like they are the biggest gaming review channel, bro. Every time a game comes out, we either say, damn, IGN, they got this review wrong, or damn, IGN got this review right. And it's and it just drives me crazy, bro. It's like stop looking at IGN. And it's crazy because we have to look at IGN because they're the biggest. Like, why hasn't anybody come out and basically like obliterated IGN when it comes to reviews? Why is that? Because we keep watching IGN. You guys keep looking at IGN as if these are the guys to give the right reviews, bro. I looked at what it takes to be a reviewer for IGN, bro. You literally just got to submit some stuff and they hire you like a contractor specifically for a game review, right? This isn't somebody on staff, right? They don't have the same people doing reviews back to back. Like maybe a couple people will do a review for like a specific genre back to back, but like these are not the same type of people constantly doing the reviews. So we need to definitely just stop looking at IGN for their reviews, bro. And like again, it's hard because like a review of something is supposed to be more of a open-ended type of thing. Like you're not supposed to really make it super personal when it comes to your review, right? So like when I was reviewing games, it's like, here's a game, this is what I think, and this is what I think as a score, depending on how much the price of the game was. So like if the game was $60, I ranked it in the category of $60 games. If the game was $20, we got a different ranking because like the price is different. So whenever I was like getting a game early and we talked about a game that cost $60, right? I want to make sure like, hey, this is an issue. The game is buggy here. The story's all right. The graphics are fine. Blase, blase. And then like if it comes to politics, it's like, yeah, there's some politics in it. Blase, blase. We talk about it real quick. This is the score. But of course, the score is going to be a bit skewed. And of course, I'm not saying like I'm the perfect reviewer when it comes to games, but we definitely need to be more conscious of who is reviewing the game. And this person, obviously, they put way more personal stuff in there. Like they talked about being non-binary, which is like fine. Like if there's non-binary stuff in the game, you're a subject matter expert at being non-binary. That being said, talking about like getting away from your parents and blase blase like that, it's like, bro, like we don't like it looks like it feels like a window into your life. And I feel like, we don't need to see that. Just let us know, is the game good? Is the combat fun? Are the graphics nice? Is the sound design good? I think those should be like the most important things that we talk about when it comes to a game review. But obviously, we're not getting that with IGN. We're getting something more personal because, I mean, again, they're contracted. Like these are somebody that's just showed up, they're doing the review for the game, and then that's it, right? But we keep looking at IGN as the platform like this is the end all be all when it comes to a game review. I think that needs to be updated. People need to change their expectations when we talk about IGN, for real, for real.
On a high note.
Even if that means our world has to burn.
Yep, that's all you need to hear as to why IGN gave this game a 9 out of 10.
That's wild.
Ever since its
Well, and that's crazy because like this, I mean that section was taken out of like it had that one context. How long was the review? Did they talk about the gameplay? Did they talk about the story? Like to sit there and say, "Oh yeah, they gave it a 9 out of 10 because they're non-binary." I feel like that's a crock of shit. You could definitely look at it that way. And even I said like, yeah, it's a bit personal, but what about the rest of the game? Maybe they enjoyed the rest of the game. I mean, they gave it a 9 out of 10. Obviously, they enjoy it. Is it solely because of the political message that resonated with them? Maybe, but I wouldn't sit there and say, "Oh yeah, that's the reason why they gave it a 9 out of 10." I feel like you're being too close-minded, man. Personally speaking, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments below.
reveal trailer earlier this year, Dragon Age the Veilguard has rightfully been getting a lot of backlash from fans of the original games, and for those who have never played the games, nothing about the marketing makes Veilguard look or sound enticing. Bioware developers have been attacking fans on social media in regards to the character creator that's extremely limiting and full of current year gender identity politics. And
I noticed that a lot, Of course, like if you're making something and then people criticize it, it's normal to get defensive. But arguing with these people online it does not change anything. And if anything, it makes you look worse. So I just I never thought it was a good idea to participate in that type of stuff, but you see a lot of it more nowadays. I think people are getting a bit sensitive, which is understandable. Like we're talking about sensitive things in video games, something that people are very passionate about, and that takes a lot of time, right? People worked on this game for years just for it to get shat on. Understandably, you're upset. That being said, like you got to keep it professional, right? When you're online, you can't be just because they throw rocks doesn't mean you doesn't. If anything, you can't throw rocks back. You shouldn't throw rocks back. You should just let them look bad and you take the high ground. I mean, ain't that part of the politics anyway? Being the vocal minority, like you should take the high ground because that will have more people stand on your side anyway.
sanitized customization options, criticizing fans who take issue with the change in the art style, specifically with the Kunari designs, among many other criticisms. And as we know, attacking fans has never worked out well for studios in the past. The Saints Row
yeah, like these graphics, bro, they really do look pretty like generic. Where is the art style to say like this is Dragon Age? Like so far, it just looks like any other like magical game. It doesn't scream Dragon Age, and that's sad because Dragon Age is a beloved series, and it's pretty old too. Like I think Dragon Age 1 came out like over a decade ago, right? So definitely like the fans that have been with this game that are still alive, they of course will want to see their game come back to life in a new style, but keep the old art, you know? Just make it Dragon Age, but 2024. I think they dropped the ball on that personally.
Reboot being a shining example of what happens when you completely change the identity of a franchise in favor of modern-day social politics and dumbing down gameplay to an elementary level, and it seems like that's the route BioWare has taken with Dragon Age. Veilguard is a new and also worse direction for the franchise, and the future of BioWare now hangs in the balance. Like the closure of Volition, could they be the next studio shutdown due to butchering an iconic franchise in favor
Probably.
of modern audience game design?
Bro, I remember back in the day, bro, EA was shutting down people left and right. Like, they were shutting down all of their studios because they had one flop. I'm surprised BioWare isn't shut down by now.
You're right now, yes.
What the heck?
Yes, right now, Mahomes is the best football player. How many times do I have to say yes? Yes.
What is Stephen A. Smith Small? What the hell?
Okay, in that case, all I can tell.
There's been a lot of conversation surrounding the
Well,
early
in that
review
case-
process for Dragon Age the Veilguard, in which it appears that EA and BioWare have been extremely selective
Oh boy. People are selective with their game reviews now. They've been doing that for a minute, bro. Like, unless you were cool with the company, bro, you were not getting a review copy. Oh, and great, my internet's fucking up again. Great. Hmm. All right, well, let me go download this video. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. I had to download the video. Let's go.
selective with who gets an early review copy and
Oh yeah. Early review copies, man. Yeah, it does suck whenever like people that like to speak their mind and voice their opinions, they don't get the early review copy because publishers know that it's going to hurt the sales when people find out what's inside the game. But it's an understandable tactic that they
who
use.
doesn't. YouTuber WolfartFPS posted on Twitter saying, 3 creators, myself included, were a bit more critical than others with our hands-on time with Dragon Age the Veilguard. Not a single one of us will be getting a review code with time to actually give opinions before release.
Of course.
Just thought I'd throw that out.
And if anything, when this happens, bro, this is obviously a red flag. And I I never understood why people would still buy the game, right? Like, especially like when it came to Cyberpunk, right? Only certain specific people were allowed to get a review copy. A lot of people did not get a copy. That should be a red flag for everybody that's pre-ordering. Like, oh, wait, they don't want other people to voice their opinion. Oh, well, maybe I shouldn't pre-order the game because maybe the game is bad and they know it. The publisher knows the game is bad. The publisher knows, hey, it's glitchy or it's buggy, or people aren't gonna like it now because of politics. Like back then, it was just like, oh, the game's buggy. Let's not, tell everybody. So whenever they pre-order, they keep their pre-orders. Like, and it's crazy because I know a lot of people they don't be thinking about this shit. Like, and the wool be getting pulled over their eyes, and it's sad that they don't notice it. But yeah, let's continue.
There. Luke Stevens is another creator that was also passed up on receiving an early review code. ACG, one of the better reviewers out there, was also denied a copy. And Fextra Life, who had previously put out a 6-hour impressions video critiquing the game a bit, were denied their early access code as well,
6
despite
hours,
being
damn.
promised one ahead of time. So BioWare and EA were being extremely selective with who they gave a code early to, and it seems like they chose only the people they thought would give them a glowing review.
Of course.
People like SkillUp, who are often far too forgiving in their reviews. But unfortunately for them, this time around, SkillUp spent 45 minutes telling everyone not to buy the game and critiqued every single aspect of the game, which probably came as a bit of a surprise to them.
Yeah, for real. He ain't gonna get another early game copy.
Dragon Age the Veilguard is a colossal disappointment. I really can't put it any other way. I spent 50 hours playing this, and it was time I desperately wish that I could get back. I started having my doubts at around the 10-hour mark. I was thoroughly checked out at the 20-hour mark, and the remaining 30 hours were just excruciatingly painful as I was forced to suffer through the endless morass of banality that is Dragon Age the Veilguard.
That's great.
The writing is frankly terminal. It lacks any nuance or wit or wisdom. It cannot communicate ideas except to say them aloud to the camera. It manufactures petty, unbelievable tension because it doesn't know how to create anything more real, and it's too scared to ever be truly confronting or dark for fear that it might make the audience uncomfortable. Every interaction between the companions feels like HR is in the room, and every interaction led by the main character, Rook, sounds like he's addressing an under-12 soccer team before a semi-final, or teaching toddlers how to properly share toys. The world design is so weird. I have never encountered worlds quite like this. They feel more like Overwatch maps than actual explorable spaces, and they're littered with puzzles so mind-numbingly stupid that I wonder how little BioWare must think of our ability to solve puzzles. The combat is like, man,
Bro, he really
shallow is
going in.
too kind a word. The lack of enemy variety, the sponginess of those enemies,
enemy
how
variety,
limited
okay.
your control over party members is, it all makes combat so utterly mindless and so breathtakingly repetitive.
Right now, the game is sitting
Damn,
at an
that's
84
crazy.
on Metacritic, but once
And again, like I said, bro, this gameplay it looks good, to be honest. Like the stuff that I just saw, except for like some of it obviously didn't look good. But some of these I mean, of course, it's just flashy, right? It's flash over substance. So
more
yeah.
time has
Makes
passed and
sense.
more reviewers get their hands on the game and publish their reviews,
They
I
got
can
an
see this
84.
score
Whoa.
getting lower and lower. Everyone already knew that these mainstream sites would be giving it glowing reviews because it aligns with the ideologies they love to push in their articles every day. So once we start seeing real people's scores, it's definitely going to
Real
drop a bit.
people's scores.
And I'm sure that there will be a stark contrast between the user score and the critic score, like is the case with many modern games like Saints Row and Starfield, for example. Like I've said in many of my previous videos, modern day
People like Starfield.
Bioware isn't the same Bioware that brought us the original Dragon Age games, Mass Effect, KOTOR, or Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. There has been a massive amount of talent that's
It's
left
different
the
people.
studio,
Yeah,
a
it's
large
different
number
people.
of which shortly
It's not the
left
same.
after the release of Anthem or even before.
Understandable.
Veilguard is a game developed by a completely different set of developers
Yeah, these are
and
different
writers, and it absolutely shows.
He, him, she, her, and they, them, and then your gender is man, woman, non-binary. Love that. Love the inclusivity. Top surgery scars are also included in this for all of our trans and non-binary rooks out there. I absolutely was blown away by this. It's beautiful to see the inclusion in the game and to see yourself represented.
A lot of this really isn't
I mean, yeah, like it's an RPG, at the end of the day, like I know a lot of people get super upset about like the politics and stuff, and it's like understandable when it's like legitimate politics. Me personally speaking, bro, like if I see you have the ability to change your gender, it's like, okay. I mean, obviously it's not for me, it's not for you, it's for them. It's for these people right here, right? And these people exist, whether you like them or not, it doesn't really matter, right? So to see them have some type of inclusivity in the game, I would say, okay, well, yeah, they have their moment, they have their time, and that's in the customization category of the game. But when it comes to politics, like I can totally understand why people are upset. But when it comes to the gender stuff, it's just like, bro, just pick he, him, or pick she, her, or don't pick anything. Like pick the neutral, and then like let it go. Like for real. Like in other games back in the day, you could put male or female. Boom, there it is. Right. I was like, okay, there's more options. I like there is more variety. And I get it. A lot of people like to pretend gay people, trans people, pans, and all these other people don't exist. But the thing is, they do exist. That's why this stuff is going to be in games because the outside has accepted these people as human, right? If you want to be upset about it, you should have gone back in time and started voting like, oh no, like keep the gays out of whatever, or keep them out of the whatever, right? But when you decided to acknowledge these people's existence, well, yeah, of course they're gonna pop up in video games. Of course they're gonna pop up in movies. Of course they're gonna pop up in TV because they exist in real life. If aliens came to this planet, right, and they started living amongst people, humans, like if there were more creatures on this earth other than humans that were sentient, you would expect that these type of anomalies will end up in entertainment. They would end up in TV and movies, right? Because they would want, or they might not even want it, but they will have some type of representation because they exist. Now I can get why you're upset, but I'm just letting you know this is why. Like this is why it's in the game because they exist, because they're still human beings, even though they want to be called something else. And even if you don't like it and you don't respect it, it's just it's it just is what it is, bro. Like that's literally like the oldest saying in the book. It is what it is because you can't really in it, and now that it's in games and it's in movies, you can't just take it out. You can't just pretend they don't. Well, you could, right? But I mean, I don't think that would solve or help anything, to be honest, right? So if anything, like this type of stuff, when it comes to the gender and character customization, like it's one of those things you just got to take on the chin. And I get a lot of people are tribal, a lot of people are one side or the other. I'm on neither side. I'm just here to let you know this is why the things exist in the world. That happens. Like that. That's it. I'm not here to convince you. I'm not here to change your mind because only you can change your mind about whatever it is that you like or dislike about living on this planet that we call Earth. It just is what it is, bro. It just is what it is.
Surprising when you take one look at the game director. Coming out as transgender to different NPCs in the game unlocks new dialogue options.
Huh.
If that isn't straightforward modern day socio-political propaganda, I don't know what is. You've chosen to encourage Tash by focusing on the benefits of a multicultural background. For this to be an actual gameplay decision that makes characters like you is obvious propaganda as well.
Yeah, I would say it's propaganda because they should also have the ability to say they don't like you for the same exact reason. And then at that point, it's not propaganda. Then it's just real life, right? You come out to somebody and you say you're trans. Some person's going to be like, oh, cool. Somebody else is going to be like, I don't care, right? It just is what it is.
Non-binary, I just said, and I'm going to use they instead of she from now on.
In a dark fantasy video game
Okay.
about good versus evil with stuff like this just injected all over the game is, again, nothing more than propaganda being shoved down your throat. It's hard to say how well this game will sell, but I'm betting it will definitely fall short of EA's sales expectations. And even if it does manage to sell a few million copies, it might not make back its $150 million budget.
That's
And if
a
it
big-ass
doesn't, that
budget.
could definitely be bad news for EA and ultimately BioWare,
Bro, but again, BioWare should have been shut down a long time ago.
whose future existence could be in jeopardy. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.
She hates it.
No, I don't hate it. It's really nice. Temperature.
I
Yikes.
won't be upset if you don't like coffee.
He really wouldn't.
I know, but sorry. It's just this thing I do sometimes.
Acting so people will like you?
That sounds terrible when you say it like that. I know I
that's
don't
what it is.
need to do it. I just do.
And that's
Dragon Age.
And honestly, like that scene alone, like, yeah, however you take it, like that's legit. Like that's how some people live. Some people, they need the validation of another human being because they don't like themselves. They don't like what's inside here, right? And obviously, if that wasn't the case, bro, suicide rates wouldn't be so high across the world, period. Right. And that's just the real deal, Holyfield. Like I am not gonna sit here and pander to you. I'm not gonna sit here and baby you either. Like the realness of the real is that people exist with all different types of backgrounds. That being said, I think that there should be some type of fairness so it's not propaganda, right? To have somebody immediately like you because you decided to reveal who you are, I think that that's okay as long as there is a chance that some other characters will actively dislike you for the same reason because that makes it fair, bro. That just legitimately just makes it fair. Not everybody's gonna like you, and that's a crazy thing. Everybody acts like people are gonna like you. Like I know when I upload this video, some people are gonna like what I say, and then other people aren't gonna like it, and that's just life. Not everybody is going to like whatever it is anybody says. There's people that are watching this video and they absolutely love it. Like, yeah, you're taking them down, political, blah blah blah, right? And then there's somebody else watching this, like, oh, you hurt my feelings, blah blah blah, and it's like, okay, at the end of the day, everybody has an opinion about something, whether it's media, politics, food, culture, backgrounds, blase blase. Everybody has some type of opinion. Only some people will voice that opinion. And on top of that, only some people will actually show this in some type of media representation, whether it's art, drawings, TV, movies, video games, right? When these things come out, of course, other people that never had an opinion that came outside of their mouth or outside of their head, they still have the opinion because it's in their head. So they're going to voice their opinion that you might not have thought it existed. And that's the thing. Like you didn't know it existed. You didn't know there were people that didn't like politics. You know, there's a lot of people that voice they don't like politics, but there's other people that also engage and enjoy the inclusivity. And I think as a group of people, and I know there's a lot of just dumb motherfuckers out here, point blank period. There's a lot of dumb motherfuckers that'll keep their mind closed and not listen to anything, right? We're not talking about them. We're talking to whoever is rational enough to think for themselves. And again, not many people that do that. That being said, the people that are doing that, I think we have the ability to make a change in whatever it is, whether it's gaming, art, movies, right? I think having this gender-based character design, keep it in the game, keep it in the games, keep it in the movies, because those people exist that actually feel inclusive to have that. Like, how would I feel if they just stopped making black characters point blank, period? Obviously, I would be like, Well, me personally, I'd be like, damn, that's fucked up. But I would just keep, doing my own thing in real life. But other people absolutely hate that shit. And it's understandable, right? Black people exist. Gay people exist. Trans people exist, right? Mexicans exist. Asians exist. White people exist, right? And there's people that are actively outside going against white people. It's like, no, bro, not every white person is bad, right? And I'm here to say that because the white people exist. Like I'm living with 3 white people right now. You know what I'm saying? Like white people exist. It's cool. It's fine to have all this stuff in the game, but I would say give the ability for it to actively be disliked as well. Like racism still exists, sexism still exists, classism exists. There are rich people that absolutely hate you because your ass is poor. Point blank, period. They don't even know who you are. They just know you don't wear Louis Vuitton or whatever the fuck rich people wear, right? And you're automatically beneath their hill because you don't have money, broke ass. You know what I'm saying? So, like, yeah, keep it in the game, but let it be known and let it have the balance of having an open-ended response because not everybody's going to be positive to it. And that's all I have to say. That was pretty cool though. Like again, I don't game anymore. I was in the gaming industry. I definitely know how these favors happen, and these favors are real. Like legitimately, a gaming company will not give somebody a game because they're open with their opinion. They're not fine with with towing the company line. And I would say to that, that's absolutely terrible, right? We cannot have just companies pick and choose who they give stuff to because they know that those people that they give it to is going to give it something positive because that's misleading the consumer, which is me and you, right? I'm always going to be pro consumer. Duh. Like we're consuming shit. Like you're watching this video, you're consuming it, right? Pro consumer. That being said, like obviously these people aren't going to play fair. Obviously these people have a political agenda, and it's absolutely true that you should definitely voice your opinions whenever these things happen, but not all of it is 100% a political agenda. The gender based whatever character creation, that shit's totally fine compared to what I saw earlier where it was like, "Oh, you're trans? Oh, well, I automatically like you now." I think that's some bullshit. You should definitely have characters be like, "Oh, you're trans? Ill." Right? And in real life, I would say that's some bullshit. But in the game, let it be known that it can happen because it can happen. Like point blank, period, bro. Like I'm like one of the only black people I've seen in this whole area of France that I'm living in right now. Every time I see somebody, they look at me like, "Whoa, there's a black person there." Like I'm a rare fucking Pokemon, bro. It just is what it is, bro. It's life. It is absolutely just life. And I think more people should voice their opinions, but just be conscious enough that there are other people that are going to be enjoying the media that you actively dislike. And that's all I got to say. It's your boy KhunShawn. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like button. If you didn't, hit the dislike button and subscribe for more. Join the Discord down below. Join the Discord, drop your videos, and I'll react to them later. And until next time, I'll see you guys when I see you guys. Peace.